remember one friend of mine expressing it so beautifully. She said, I felt this unbelievable protectiveness. Like, she's like, I finally got what it was like to, imagine what that, mother grizzly bear feels like when she feels her young is threatened, and that like instinctive primal protectiveness comes over you. It's like an animal thing. And I think that sometimes that women, if you let yourself like acknowledge that, you'll see that that's might be your prevailing emotion about being in your first like moments of motherhood, or more than moments. I could go for like weeks. So that friend who had expressed that to me, she had said it took her months before she actually fell in love with her child. And some of that has to do with their ability to respond to you. I mean, a newborn baby is really unformed. I mean, humans are, the only mammals who have babies that are unable to exist without us. I mean, obviously, if you had a baby and there was no one to take care of it, it would die immediately. Versus, think of all like, animals that are born, and four-legged animals who are able to be up and walking and joining the herd within an hour of being born. This is a survival thing. We have the ability to tend to our young, and when babies are born, they are, just, absolutely sort of unready to exist in any way, and unable to interact, and unable to see for quite a while, or, not maybe just like a little bit, like 10 inches or something, or everything's very fuzzy. I don't know. There's just like a bunch of things that aren't quite formed that sort of add up to this like inability to really connect. And that's one of the reasons that nursing is really helpful for mother and child, because it's this way to connect and bond that has, well, is all about sustenance. It also feels really nice for the mother, because the hormones that are emitted during nursing are relaxing, and it's oxytocin, I believe. That's the love hormone. We feel it in other parts of our lives too. So when we have it for the baby, like, it kind of helps us sort of like build that bond. And interestingly, in this book about her depression, everybody was saying, oh, stop nursing, it's too much trouble, or, you need to go on antidepressants, and maybe you should stop nursing, and she really felt like nursing was the only thing that really kept her physically and somewhat emotionally connected to her baby. Let me see my timing. I've been blabbing for a long time. Remember, I don't have my remote. I'm going to put my timer on. I hope that you can't hear it. Tick, 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 tick. It's 60 minutes. I'll just put that over there. I'm sure you won't be able to hear it. So where was I? Yeah, again, I'm kind of like on this little sort of like philosophical jag here, talking about being a new parent and the challenges of that, and postpartum this and that. And so anyway, yeah, so I really liked that book, and it taught me some interesting things about not just specific to postpartum depression, but just about like how women in general perceive what's ahead of them, when they're pregnant, and while they're pregnant, and certainly, and then once they have a baby, and just kind of dealing with that, their expectations and other people's expectations of them, which is, kind of lends a certain air of pressure as well, So that was the thing. I mean, again, she just felt like she was failing as a mother. Everybody else was like, what's wrong with you? She had to do IVF. It took her a really long time to get pregnant. And, when that's all behind you, there's this sense of like, oh, wow, this is finally happening. This is a miracle. I should be happy about it. And so that adds to the pressure of like on yourself, like how dare you not be filled with joy about having a new baby when you worked so hard to get there. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about? baby crying. Waco. How does Waco factor into my notes? Waco, when the feds tortured David Koresh. What? Yeah, that goes off on another tangent. No, I know what I was talking about. And this this is just sort of notes I was writing about, like how I really cannot handle the sound of a baby crying. It really puts me over the edge. And it's like having, you know, post-traumatic stress or something, you know, like how like maybe a Vietnam vet cannot bear the sound of like a helicopter overhead, you know. It's like having babies was really traumatic for me, and like that incessant crying was just like put me over the edge. Were my babies colicky? Well, I think my firstborn was colicky, like on the, you know, sort of like not on that sort of that extreme level where it's like 24 hours a day or whatever, that those babies that like never stop crying. But she had her problems, and yeah, man, when I hear a baby crying. So I was talking about how like how did I tie that into Waco? Oh, how the feds were trying to get like all the people out of the their hideaway, and they tortured them by playing bad music really loudly. And I believe that one of the songs they chose was Achy Breaky Heart, like over and over and over again. I thought that was so insane. Like only the feds would come up with like that sort of like brand of torture, you know. And then I thought, for me, like the sound of like a baby crying over and over, that would be my torture. I shouldn't give away my secrets, but yeah, that's tricky for me. But you know, hey, babies are cute. I'll hold them and coo over them, just, you know, as much as the next mom. But I don't get that feeling of like, oh, I want another one. No. Yeah, it's a tough time. I'm glad to be past that point. My girls are they're being quiet. I wanted them to come and sing a song because on one of my last shows they sang this adorable song at the end of the show, and it was everybody's favorite part of the show. It was like I had created this variety show. Yeah. So oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. A couple of plugs here. I wanted to talk about the Jersey City Family Alliance email group of parents in Jersey City. It's a good way to communicate with people, find out what's going on, if you have things to sell or things to buy, or you just want to know about this or vent about this, that, or the other issue. It only costs like $20 a year, so you know, you can't beat it. You can email. Why don't you just email me? Nobody emails me anymore. I'm really like a little frustrated with that, you guys. mamarama@operamail.com. It's not that complicated. I don't, you know. Okay, yes, I know it's not Hotmail or Yahoo or Gmail. Maybe I should change it to Gmail. Nobody likes Opera Mail. They're like, what is that? What is Opera Mail? Whoever heard of that free website, whatever. Sorry, I definitely ran out of time. I was blabbing about daycare alternatives outside of Jersey City in Manhattan, but I'm going to have to talk about it next time. If it's really an issue, if you need to know about it, just feel free to email me, mamarama@operamail.com. Look for me on YouTube, and I guess that's it. Join me next time. Thanks, bye.